We are live. We are direct with Sherry McClurkin, who is an intuitive Christian coach who helps women to step into their next level of relationship
That's
and
right.
growth,
Yes.
all by trusting in their intuition, all by feeling secure in their relationships, all by feeling safety in their Christ-like vision. Working with Sherry, you will be in a judgment-free zone. Step into empowerment is biblically grounded. And whether you are in Nova Scotia or Mississippi, 100% virtual. Welcome. She leads, she sells to Sherry.
Oh, thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. I haven't heard someone put everything quite the way you did, and I really am touched by that. Thank you. Excited to be here. I love working on relationships because the most important relationship we can have is with Christ. And the second most is with us, our own selves, because everything flows from those two things.
Yes, perfect. Tell me, who do you love to serve? Tell me a little bit about who you love to serve.
I love to serve those women who are they're so capable in many, many areas of their lives, but there's this one relationship. Or it could be with their partner spouse, it could be with a friend, it could be with a parent. Or maybe you're a parent and it's with an adult child, or it's a coworker. There's this one relationship just don't know what to do with. We need to have that difficult conversation. Or there's something about the relationship where we're never quite comfortable, or maybe we find ourselves kind of drifting into not being quite ourselves. I know what these things are like. I like to say, I've started saying recently, I've made all the relationship mistakes, so you don't have to. And I've gotten all the education, because I'm a former therapist, I've gotten all the education, so you don't have to. I've done it all.
No, amazing. I love connecting with experts like yourself, people who are grounded, because I think in 2026, your strategy is your mission.
Yeah.
That is what really people are leaning into. Tell me a
Mm.
little bit about the results that you get for your people.
Instead of that, we have a tendency to get tense. We have a tendency to react. And when we're reacting, we're not coming from our best selves. It's kind of
Yes.
almost automatic pilot. Now, I know I was married for almost 30 years, went through a divorce. I've been single for over 10 years as an adult. That's a very different thing than when you're younger. And I know that there were certain arguments with my then husband where if anybody was watching us, you probably could just take the script from the previous one. It's the same argument, right? Because neither one we're both in react mode. So
Mm,
one of the beautiful outcomes is that we're no longer in react mode. We're in thoughtful, intentional response,
mm.
because a response can be silence. When we're in react mode, response isn't silence unless we're withdrawal, and that's not helpful. But when you intentionally choose silence, that's a whole different. It's so empowering. Or when you intentionally choose to walk away, or when you intentionally choose to say a thing that is truthful and kind and compassionate and loving, but has nothing to do with how the other person reacts. We're so trained to monitor the other person and then change how you're going to be based on that, right? That's not a healthy relationship. And I love using Jesus as our examples. Boundaries is another thing. So few people have in good boundaries or even understand what boundaries are. So another outcome is that we work on good boundaries. What are boundaries? Boundaries are things that are completely within your control, has nothing to do with the other person. This is within your control. And when somebody crosses that boundary, what happens is completely within your control. It's not a punishment. Now, we're not talking about parent to child. That's a whole different thing. We're talking about adult to adult. So when you set a healthy boundary, it is all about what you need and protecting your safety, whether that your security, whether that's hopefully it's not physically, but whether that's physically, emotionally, spiritually, however you need, but also based on truth. Not so many boundaries are based on that people call boundaries, but they're really punishments. So many what people call boundaries are based on punishments because I want you to act a certain way, I'm going to say you can't have or can't do or XYZ. That's not actually a boundary. Boundaries are for your security. Your security. You continually, excuse me, you continuing to be present with yourself and present with the relationship and doing what you need to do to stay secure and centered in your values and you in the real truth and not being shoved off any of that because of what somebody else may or may not be saying or how they're acting or their threats. Hopefully that's not the case because I'm not really worried. I don't just want a little caveat. I don't work on while I can and I know how to, I don't work with deep trauma. That really needs a therapist. Like there's a difference between being a coach and being a therapist. I'm
Mhm.
not going into therapist world. I was in therapist world, so I do know the difference. But that's another outcome is boundaries. So one outcome is that we're no longer reacting. Another outcome is that you understand and set healthy boundaries. And another outcome is that you know more about what you truly need. What are your actual needs? So, because so much of our reacting is because we have an inner need that we're not recognizing, that we're expecting the other person to just know about. Just know, you're supposed to just know I have this need. And then you're supposed to fulfill this need. And that is just not how healthy relationships work either, nor is it a healthy relationship with ourselves. What is the need? What do you need? We need to know ourselves enough that we understand our needs, understand what we're putting out there, and we're not actually dependent on that person to fulfill that need. We're not actually dependent on that person anymore to our happiness because being Christ-centered, the joy that's sitting in that joy and that peace that goes beyond all human understanding, regardless of what's happening around us. Does that mean that you won't get hurt? No, it doesn't mean that. We're human. Jesus cried too. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we're human. Jesus had a whole range of emotions. You're allowed to have your emotions. We're not going to be controlled by them, nor are we going to allow someone else, whether they mean to or not, to try to control us in that sense either. So
No,
those
thanks.
are
Yeah, thanks for sharing. She leads, she sells. Tell us a little bit about how you sell. I've seen that you do some workshops and things like this, but what are you using to sell?
What's so great is relationships. Everybody has a relationship. Everybody has some relationship. Either you're currently there or you've been there or you're going to be there that needs work, that needs help. I mean, just 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I was in a friendship that didn't go very well. Like I thought it was one thing, it turned into another thing. As we got closer and spent more time together, it started to be something that I just wasn't that's not it didn't feel right to me. I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be myself. I had to be guarded, and I had to leave a relationship. That was a friendship. It's friendship. I had to leave that friendship. It was messy. It hurt. It was the right thing to do. I want you to have that strength. So part of selling is I'm just me. I'm going to share that I'm messy too. Guess what?
Mm.
I'm messy too. Yeah, I was a therapist for over 10 years. Yeah, I'm a coach and speaker and writer now, but I'm still messy because I'm human. And that's okay. It's okay that we're messy. What's not okay is that we sit in that mess. That's what's not healthy, is to sit in the mess because that's not what Christ wants for us either. But yes,
Mm.
I also have a workshop coming up. Not sure when this will be aired, but it starts January 20th for 4 Tuesdays. And you can join at any time because replays are also available, and the replays will be available through the end of February. So this is a perfect time. I'm going deep into what your values are, what assumptions you bring into relationships, how we can look at those and learn about ourselves from them. What do you want to keep and what you want to get rid of? How to set those boundaries, exactly what language to use if you want to use my language, or at least hear the examples of when and how to phrase those boundaries in loving, respectful, compassionate ways, and so much more. That's the tip of the iceberg. And we'll look at biblical pairs we'll look at pairs of people from the Bible as part of our example, from their challenges as much as from what worked well for them, because they're messy people too. But I also love just continuing to put out there stories. Stories matter. We connect through stories. So I do a lot of storytelling in when I present things, and working on that in my social media, in my emails, and I love being on podcasts. I was just interviewed for a TV segment, those kind of things. So I am out there, and I love networking and talking about what I do, obviously, because I nonstop talking about what I do. So the sale in the type of work that I do, I'm just as much a part of the product. You know what I mean? Like, the product, yes, it's this coaching package, but it's also me. So I need to be out there, and I need to be talking about me as much as anything, because authenticity really sells. People are
Yeah,
tired of fake.
yeah, 100%. I think people say that you buy the coach, not coaching.
Exactly, right? Exactly, because 'cause we're gonna spend a lot of time together, so you wanna make sure that you like me. Not everyone's
100%.
gonna like me, and that's okay. That's okay. That's why there's so many choices. You don't have to like me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think by stepping into your authenticity, it just means that your tribe will find you if you,
That's right.
you know, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I show that I'm messy too, and look how I've worked through it. So I also have a YouTube channel where I go deeper into those kind of things. I generally make those YouTube videos pretty much while I'm in the midst of a messy situation, and I
Oh, wow.
actually genuinely work through it as I'm talking.
Wow.
So you see what I do. You get part of an insight into how my brain operates, which might scare you, but or you might be really, like, drawn to that too. That's okay.
Amazing. Tell me, what's the big plan for 2026?
Yeah, so 2026, I'm focusing much more on the being organized in the back end. The back end hasn't been is not my strength. That's just not my strength. My strength is in the one-to-one or the groups, dealing with helping people walk through, guiding people to a better place in their relationship. That's my strength. So my strength is not all the stuff that goes on the back end that also helps you feel that I'm caring about it matters too. That you get the nurturing emails, that you get the recognition that you worked on something, or that that an event is coming up. People want to be informed of these things, and that is also part of connecting, that I keep you informed, right? So that a lot of that is back end, and that's not my strength, so I'm working on that, getting I've already gotten so much better. I tend to learn like it or not, I tend to learn the hard way. So, I've been through all the bumps and bruises, and I got all the scars to show, and now I'm like, "Oh, okay, I need to do this, and I can do it." I'm also
Oh,
gonna make sure that I'm planning each quarter as a whole, um, because I'm not a natural planner. I'm not a natural strategist. I'm learning these things through, unfortunately, a little trial and error. I mean, I hear people, I go to all the courses, I keep myself very educated. There's just some things that are just not natural to the way I think, my thinking. So I'm learning. I'm learning these things, and I think it's totally fine that I'm really good at some things, and I'm not so great at other things. That's being human too.
no, that makes perfect sense. Let me know, what is your purpose in doing what you do? Like, why do you do it?
I grew up in an alcoholic home, so I learned very well fear, anxiety, perfectionism, self-doubts. I had no insecurity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to have relationships. I had very few friends, if any, really, as a child, because in my home, you had to pretend. I had to wear the mask.
Hmm.
"Everything's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine." And it was a disaster, it was a dumpster fire.
Hmm.
I had to unlearn all of that, and it
Mm.
truly, truly, truly is my heart to help others who maybe you've been through that stuff, maybe you haven't, but you've had painful things happen in your life. And like it or not, that shapes how we are in relationships. It shapes how we view ourselves. It shapes how we view God. I was
Mm.
anti-Christian for quite a while, into my
Uh-huh.
early 20s, maybe all of my 20s, maybe through my 20s, because I didn't come to Christ until I was 38 years old. And that's just something that's seared into my brain when that happened and how it happened. I actually heard a voice. So it was very there's, like, no denying. There was, like, no denying what was going on. I wanna help other women who I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to feel completely alone, to feels like you just don't have friends. You don't know how to make friends. I genuinely didn't. I'm still in some respect, still learning how to make really good friends. And I do think that's a lifelong journey for everyone. But where you start from, I started way deficit and I've had to come all this way. And so I also know there's another side. I know what the healing, I know what a more healed place feels like, looks like, operates like, and I know that that's better. It's so much better. It's so, so, so much better. And I want to help women get there is we don't pay enough attention to what we learn early on truly shapes us. Now, I don't spend a lot of time on people's history. We do have to acknowledge, though, that that history has shaped you. Let's just look at
Uh-huh.
the ways it shaped you. And that's why I do this, because that's truly my heart. I know what it's like. And you don't have to go through, basically, and all of us, most of us in the healing kind of space will say a lot the same thing. I'm the person I wish I had early on in life.
Uh-huh. Makes sense. Let them know how they can get hold of you and where they can contact you, and things like this and who you're looking for.
Oh, love it. Thank you so much. I have my website is sherrymcclurkin.com. I also have coachsherry.com. They're connected. You go to one, you'll get to the other. My YouTube name is Sherry McClurkin MS. Sherry McClurkin, the letter M, the letter S. And I'm on Facebook under my name. Thankfully, I have a fairly unique name, so it's not very hard to find me once you start spelling that out and making a mess of spelling that out, which is completely fine. I have to say, Jay, you pronounced my name beautifully. It's not always pronounced well. That's okay. I don't mind correcting people, but I hear it when people say it, get it the first time. I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
there. I'm on.
I'm a former high school teacher, so
Ah,
yeah, yeah. I like to get names right. Yeah, I like to
me
try and get things
too.
right.
Me too. I always ask, if it's a name I'm not sure how to pronounce, I'm gonna ask you because I wanna
Amazing.
pronounce it the way you want it pronounced.
100%. 100%.
So I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn, I have websites. I'm not hard to find, really. And like I said, I have the event coming up starting January 20th. It's for 4 Tuesdays, so even if you miss one or here,
Amazing.
you'll have the replays through the end of February. So there's a lot of different ways to connect with me, and my email is sherry@coachsherry.com. Feel free to reach out. DM me. I love getting DMs. That's actually the easiest way to get hold of me is through a DM.
Amazing. She leads, she sells. Sherry McClurkin. There, we out.
Yes.
Amazing.